Hello, hello, hello. I thank you for being here. You could be anywhere you wanted to be today, and you're here with me at 3:02 in the afternoon on July 1st. Now, we got a lot going on this month. Let me see. Hello. Welcome to the locker room. Let me scoot over where I belong. Okay. Um, Today's the 1st. On the 6th is my youngest daughter's birthday. The 7th is my granddaughter's birthday. The 8th is my oldest daughter's birthday. The 16th is my youngest son's birthday. The 7th is also my grandpa's birthday, who passed away years and years ago when I was younger. But so we got a lot of birthdays this month. And CJ and I will be going to Arkansas on Friday, early morning. So I do not know if we will have a live Friday night or Saturday, or we'll probably have to come home Sunday because my dogs are going to need fed. Don't get me wrong. We'll keep them fed. They've got huge food bowls out there. They can go 3 days without being fed. No problem. So, and plus they got a big old tote that's full of dog food that. So, yeah, the dogs will be fine, and they've got a swimming pool full of water. Plus, they got a big old tote that we keep full of water. So my dogs will be fine. The cats can go in and out. They have an automatic feeder and water. Church, what are you doing here? Okay, lay down. Good boy. So the animals will be good, and my neighbor will come over and check on them if they need to. Hello, reality. Your dad's birthday is the 7th. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's wonderful. The 7th. This is a good month. I guess it must have been a cold winter or fall. A stormy fall. A stormy fall. Right. Don't stare at me like that. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Idaho 4, and we're going to talk about Brian Koberger. Now, last night when I was watching, I was in Brittany's chat. One of her mods posted the link to the timeline for all of the paperwork. They are going to court tomorrow at 11 Central Standard Time, I believe it is. Evil CJ said he's going to be streaming it live, so if they allow it. I can't believe that he wants to do a plea deal. Hey, don't bite me. Um, I think it cheats the family out of their justice if he does a plea deal. Quit. So, um, okay, on December 29, 2022, we got the. Uh, I do too. I certainly do too. And I have heard through the grapevine from several different channels because everybody's covering it. I've heard that the judge has already stated that he probably will reject it. So let's just pray. Okay, so the state of Idaho is the plaintiff. Brian Koberger is the defendant. And he's got burglary and count 1, unaliving. The first, so many people are upset. Yes, I agree. I agree. You want me to drop the link? You can come in. Oops. There's my link. So he's got burglary, Church, please don't walk on my keyboard. It's a felony in one count. Unaliving in the first degree, Idaho, uh, felony count 2. Unaliving in the first degree, Idaho, felony count 3. Give me 5 on this. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds good. Uh, we got unaliving in the first degree. So he's got 4 unalivings, which we know that. And they're all felonies. So, this is redacted. I don't know what redacted means. It means it blocks out the important stuff. The defendant, hey, stop biting me. The defendant, Brian Koberger, on or about November 13 in Leda County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of unaliving. Now, how, other than the fact that one of the girls said she saw a man with bushy eyebrows, and that he was wearing a ski mask, how do they know for a fact that it was Koberger? I don't know if he was acting out alone or what. I mean, it could have been, and now that he's wanting to take a plea deal of guilty, that just kind of changes things in another perspective. They don't. You're right. You're right, reality. They don't know it's him. They just suspect that it's him because of the one fingerprint that they could find. And from what I understand, there was a big old party there a couple of days before that, and Koberger was at the party. So his DNA could be on the sheath from the K-bar from at the party. It doesn't mean that he has to be there. I mean, how else would he have known who these girls were the night before? Yeah. How else would he have known who these girls were? I mean, they went to 2 different colleges. So, I mean, and he was following 2 of them or 3 of them on Instagram or something, but I don't. Okay. Count 2, unaliving, Madison Mogan. Count 3, Kaylee Gonzalez. Count 4, Xana Kernodle. Count 5, Ethan Chapin. All of which is contrary to the form forced and effect the statute above cited against peace and dignity of the people of the state of Idaho. Wherefore, complainant requests a warrant of arrest be issued for the person, Brian C. Koberger, date of birth 11/21/94. Good night. He's younger than my oldest child. He's younger than all 3 of my kids. My youngest was born in 89. My oldest was born in 84. My oldest daughter was born in 88. My youngest daughter was born in 89. Butch's oldest daughter was born in 89. And his youngest daughter was born in like 92 or 93. So, I mean, he's younger than all. And, of course, CJ was born in 16. But he's younger than the top 5 of our children. That's just why. Okay, so we'll go back. Okay, then they got the arrest warrant, the probate cause order, the affidavit, Exhibit A statement of Brett Payne, and this was entered to the district at December 29th, 2022 at 2:52 p.m. The information provided by Brett Payne, who is duly appointed qualified acting peace officer with the county of Leta, state of Idaho. Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of corporal and has been trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. Corporal Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of Federal Bureau of Investigation. Okay. So November 13th at 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blake and I responded to 1122 King Road, hereafter the King Road residents, to assist scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. There's a technicality. There is a technicality right there. Where's it at? Right there. Right there. 4 p.m. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me. Sorry. Present screen. Stop. Present. Share screen. Okay. Right here is a technicality because it was 4 a.m., not 4 p.m. Okay. Now he could get off completely on that. That one typo could get him completely off. So, okay. Sergeant Blake and I responded King Road to assist. Upon our arrival, the Idaho Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin. Hey, Amanda Panda! Process of the scene. They were just beginning. So that to anti office. Who is anti? Can you give me a link? Um. Okay. Um. Upon arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on the scene and preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I'll do it. Um, One of the initial responding officers in the incident advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. And Amanda, did you see I found a technicality right here? That could get Koberger off completely. I don't want Koberger off. Don't get me wrong. I think if he's guilty, he needs to serve his punishment. But that is a technicality. And they, through the bottom door, north side of the building. Wait. That can't be. If they didn't call law enforcement until 11:30 or 11 in the morning, they couldn't have gotten there at 4 p. They couldn't have got there at 4 a.m. Because at 4 a.m. the girls were still alive. Everybody was still alive. So that can't be a technicality. It can't be. Now they might have got there at 4 o'clock, but why would the kids still be there at that time? Because that's like 12 hours later. Um, they walked upstairs. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle's, hereafter Kernodle room. Just before this room there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Kernodle laying on the floor. See, so she's still laying on the floor at, according to them, 4 p.m.? Yeah, 11:58 was the call to 911, 11:58 a.m. So why would the kids still be laying in their place at 4 in the afternoon? Also in the room was a male later identified as Ethan Chapin and was also unalive, and wounds later determined, autopsy report provided by Spokane County Medical Examiner, redacted, date December 15th, to be cause of sharp force injuries. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms, and 1 bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Gonzalez's, hereafter Gonzalez room, and I later learned from a review of the Officer Noon's body camera there was a dog in the room when Moscow police initially responded. The dog belonged to Gonzalez and her ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCuter. I found out there could be one of your, yeah, right there. I mean, this person could be equally as guilty as Koberger. If it's an ex-boyfriend, could be just as equally, because he would know, the ex-boyfriend would know whose room was where and where he wanted to go on his entry. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th that he and Gonzalez shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom shares a wall with Madison Mogan's, hereafter Mogan bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this room, I could see 2 females in a single bed in the room. Both Gonzalez and Mogan were unalived with visible poking wounds. I also later noticed that what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side. When viewed from the door, the sheath was later processed and had K-Bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the bottom snap of the knife sheath. Okay. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department. 2 of the interviews included BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the unalivings and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the... Hello.
Hello. All right, now that part that you just read it again.
Part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department. Idaho State Police detectives and FBI agents. Two of the interviews included BF and DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the. Okay, so that would be. I can't remember their names. The other two kids that lived the ones
Bethany and
that.
Dylan. Bethany and
Yeah,
Dylan.
Bethany and Dylan. You're right. Okay, Bethany and Dylan.
Okay,
Okay.
now about the K-bar knife. Reread that to yourself.
The sheath was later processed as a K-bar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe with anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the bottom snap of the knife sheath. Okay,
How is that possible to think about it?
somebody else had to have opened that sheath for his
Mm-hmm.
fingernail to be under the bottom of it.
Underneath that.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Not on top of it. Underneath.
Yeah, because it would have to be open like this and his fingerprint down here.
Right.
Not
So
up here.
how did he handle the whole outside of it? How did he handle that with no other fingerprints on it?
Right. Because if he'd have been wearing gloves, he wouldn't have even left that much of a fingerprint.
Correct. Remember, it was touch DNA apparently.
So that had to have been from during the party, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
and that's why people need to have an open mind about this case,
Right.
because in my opinion, I don't believe this one person committed this.
I don't either. And it is it possible that Koberger and Kaylee's ex-boyfriend got together and plotted this?
It's a it's a possibility, but remember that's an allegedly and in our opinion, because we don't need people coming and attacking us for what we're thinking.
Right, right.
Um,
Man Panda, we're trying to figure that out.
but
Why
then
he
also don't forget about Brent Kopaka.
that's the friend that was called and brought in, right?
No, he was the one that was unalived by the police department in Washington.
He was part of this case?
We believe that he and BK knew each other.
Oh. See, that sheds a whole new light on the situation.
There's just thoughts.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep an open mind, playing out different scenarios with the information that's already been given to us and what we've already found out.
Okay, so Bethany, Chapin, and Kernodle were all at the Sigma Chi house that afternoon because they are over 21. They were all 21. The other
No,
two girls were not 21.
Maddie and Kaylee were 21.
Oh,
Xana and Ethan were not.
oh. So why were they drinking at? Well, everybody underage drinks in college.
And neither were Dylan and Bethany. They were not 21 also.
Okay, Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. Well, we knew that. Gonzalez and Mogan were at the local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Gonzalez and Mogan can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Gonzalez and Mogan can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck. Right, I've seen that video. When I saw that video, now I don't have a link to pull that video up because I haven't read any of this. But when I saw that video, somebody had pointed out a heavyset girl at the food truck that wasn't either one of the two girls that were there. And I think they were trying to say that that heavyset girl was the Uber driver. Okay. Now, if we remember correctly, was it Kernodle that called her friend to find out if he was running Uber that night?
Nope, Dylan did
Dylan.
that.
Okay. So she called her friend to find out if he was driving Uber that night.
Yeah,
And
a he, not a she.
right. And he brought food at 4 a.m.
Now, do you remember when the interview with her dad, what he stated
No, what?
about Xana? That they had pizza and they were watching a movie.
Oh. So DoorDash delivery driver brought pizza.
Nope,
And that was
nope.
her.
That was supposed to be the Jack in the Box.
Oh, okay. Well, where'd the pizza come from?
I'm not sure where it came from, but that's what her dad said in an interview.
Was it left over from the party the night before? And they were eating
No,
cold
he
pizza?
had a conversation with her before she was going to turn in for the night, and she said, "Well, we're just at home watching a movie and eating pizza."
Oh. Okay. Okay. Dylan stated that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Dylan stated she was awoken approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Consalva's playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Dylan the one that ordered Uber?
No, apparently it was Xana that ordered it. Apparently. But there are so many inconsistencies with this that you're reading and what has since come out from Dylan. There are so many inconsistencies. You know how they were saying that they were on the phone, um, things were deleted, they were taking pictures. She went down to Bethany's room and supposedly fell asleep. That's what they were talking about right here. That's since come out that they didn't do that.
A short time later, Dylan said she heard who she thought was Consalvas say something in the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from the forensic download of Chernobyl's phone showed this could also have been Chernobyl, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. Dylan stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Dylan stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying from Kernodle's room. Dylan then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you."
Now there's also this that came out too. Xana supposedly was upstairs and came running downstairs, and that's possibly where that blood stain
On the
appeared.
on the yeah, in the stairwell. Yeah.
Yeah, that has since come out also from this information.
Yeah, I heard that last night.
I was floored when I heard that.
Approximately 4:17, a security camera located at one at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Knodl's bedroom. Now, why couldn't it see in the window?
Right. Well, there's no window on that side. The window's in the front.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Then how would they have heard through the wall?
That's a good question. I There's a lot of things that are very questionable in this. To be honest
She'd
with
have
you.
had to been yelling really, really loud
Yeah,
to for the camera audio to pick that up 50 feet away. And then nobody inside the house heard her screaming?
that's that's my question. They didn't supposedly hear anything, but yet there's audio that's picked up 50 feet away.
Has
Come
anybody
on.
heard this audio or is it just hearsay?
Apparently they have that. That's why it's mentioned in here.
Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered a person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Dylan described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in the frozen shock phase. The male walked toward the back sliding glass door. Dylan locked herself in her room after seeing the male. Dylan did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. Huh.
Now, if you've seen that person at that time, why didn't she call 911? I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
If
That's the
she
first
could
thing I
lock
would be
herself
doing.
in her room
No, I would be calling 911. Sorry.
and go to texting with Bethany back and forth and asking Bethany to come to her room or whatever, which is what I've heard through the grapevine. Uh, she could have texted or called 911.
Right. On the way down to going down to Bethany's room, she could have said, I'll be down in a second, but I'm going to call 911.
Yeah.
That's what she should have done. But instead, we come to find out what? Pictures were taken and then since trying to be deleted from her phone. Why would you do that? That's
Right.
morbid. That's morbid, in my opinion.
Right. And why didn't she take a picture of the person walking past her if she was taking pictures of everything else?
Well, there's that too. And if she had her phone in her hand, of course, she could have done that quickly.
Yeah. But then again, that could have also got her unalived because she would have evidence.
My other question being, there are 6 bedrooms in that house.
Right.
Why were only those 2 targeted, so to speak? You wouldn't you have checked all the other rooms to make sure that you wouldn't be leaving any witnesses?
Right. Especially if you walked right past a witness. You walked
That's
right past Dylan and looked her in the eye. He knows there was a witness.
yeah, that just doesn't make sense either.
That's why it leads me to think ex-boyfriend because he knew exactly where to target. Maybe Koberger was a hitman for hire.
As Steve stated in the interview, that they had astronomical evidence against Koberger
Yeah, I heard
that
that.
was going to be presented.
Okay, the detective they detected the shoe The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of Vans-type shoe sole just outside the door of Dylan's bedroom located on the second floor. This is consistent with Dylan's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. Okay.
Both Bethany and Xana wore Vans.
Oh,
Yep. We researched pictures, and both of them like their Vans.
okay. So I have a question. Now this is just out of my brain, and it's something I thought months and months ago when I first heard about this case. Is it possible that Bethany had something to do with this? Could Bethany be guilty?
Mm. It's a possibility that both, but people don't want us to go there.
I know, but
Hmm.
because if Bethany had something to do with it, now how could he have got in a sliding glass door? I know the lock on mine doesn't work really good, but I've got
Apparently
German
it was
shepherds
unlocked.
on the sides of it to protect it.
Apparently it was unlocked.
Oh,
And since it was a
how would
since
he
it
have
was a
known it
party
was
house,
unlocked? Huh?
since it was a party house, they left that unlocked so people can come and go.
Oh yeah. I'd still, when I wanted to go to bed, I'm I haven't locked my doors except twice since I moved in here in 2021. But I just don't lock my house up. I've got my neighbors have cameras, and when my moderator's coming up, she's hooking up my camera system, so I'm not worried about it.
That's nice. We have cameras too.
Okay, so on this video cameras was obtained was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th in the area of King Road residents and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspects' vehicles traveling or leaving from the King Road residence. Then why did the video of the white car believed to have been Koberger's not show up until just about a month ago?
Right? And does it have a license plate that can be identified? That's my question.
Because Mob Crew, we know what he can do. And if he had that
Right.
video of the car, he could get it to the point where you could see the license plate if it had a
Yep.
front license plate. That guy is a genius with video.
It sure is.
I've reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with other MDP officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow. Okay, Indian Hills
Vehicle.
Drive, that went up behind the house.
Yeah, but vehicle suspect 1. Why would you word it that way?
Yeah. And if the girl who claims to be the Uber driver said she was parked next to Koberger's car, if Koberger was up on Indian Hills, how could she wouldn't park up there to go deliver
No,
DoorDash.
it would be out front because it was delivered. Wait a
Right.
minute. Was it delivered to the front or to the back?
I don't know. But still, up on that hill, she'd had to walk down that steep hill
Mm-hmm.
to
That
get
embankment. Mm-hmm. Yep.
At approximately 3:26 a.m., a westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 on this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. So he was like a mile away on Highway 95. So, okay,
At what time?
3:28. A
Okay.
review of footage from multiple vehicles obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29. Now, wait a minute. At 3:28, he was on Highway 95 in Moscow, and at 3:29, he was on King Road. Well, he must learn how to teleport that whole car.
Well, the time.
Yeah.
What time did it supposedly happen? So what did he do? Sit in his car?
Um, showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes the initial 3 passes by 1122 King Road residents and then leave via Wallenta Drive based off of the experience of a patrol officer. Okay, if they were unalive between 4 and 4:20, and he was seen several times between 3:29 and 4:20, how could he have had time to get out of his car and go do that?
Yeah, and they seen him at 4:20 at in the vehicle.
Yeah, on
Hmm.
Wallenta Drive, which
Hmm.
was the road that teed off at Kings Road, but based off my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time, but there are other cars. At that time of the morning, why would somebody come in and leave unless they were like an Uber driver? Unless it doesn't say that somebody dropped the girls off after the food truck.
Yeah, that was a different driver for them being dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were other vehicles that were driving up and down at that time because we seen it in the other video from when those other guys got busted for underage drinking.
Yeah. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time, approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it apparently unsuccessfully attempted to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn, then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect is next seen departing the area of King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Wallenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during the time frame. I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Paulhouse River Drive and Constanoga Drive. Paulhouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow to proceed into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. So this officer's saying, if I'm reading this right, that Koberger was seen there, then he did a 3-point turn. Then when he left at a high rate of speed, the road he took could not have been the road they thought they saw him on. Because the police officer said that road he couldn't have been there.
Right.
Oh, so the college towns are about 10 miles apart. They're border towns. Okay, so the FBI that regularly utilizes surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensics examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years FBI. Okay, I don't care about that. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles. He uses database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states of to identify differences between vehicles. Okay. So they're saying that it was between 2011 2013 Hyundai Elantra, which is what they said Koberger was driving when he was stopped in Indiana by 2 different police officers for tailgating. My question is, why would his dad have flown all the way to Washington for him to drive with his dad back to, what they say, Pennsylvania?
Many different reasons. Everybody has their theory on why. I guess they're coming out with a verdict with P. Diddy.
Yeah, I heard that.
On 4 counts, but there's no verdict on count 1. So everybody's on verdict watch.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. Approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Now, where are we going to see that he stopped? Because I think Bullhorn Betty said he stopped somewhere and went to the bathroom in a little grocery store.
But yes, but do they have the license plate? Do they actually have him behind the wheel?
No, they couldn't if the car that they saw.
So how are you going to pin this on somebody when you don't have the actual proof that it would be him? That's just my opinion. My theory being that it's possible other people were involved.
I agree. I agree. Okay, I can't zoom it up. This is the white Elantra seen returning to the WSU campus. Where's the gold triangle? Oh, here's the white Elantra seen leaving WSU campus. And here's 1630 Valley Road.
This is supposedly the time frame that he was going to commit this horrific
Okay,
unalignment.
so all of these happened when he was supposedly at the girl's house.
Yeah, see, at their house. That's why I am so bothered by this coming out that he's going to plead
Right.
as he is. Oh, I have so many questions.
Okay, this don't make sense. On November 25th, MPD area law enforcement agency were asked to be on the lookout for white Hyundai Elantras in the area. On November 29th at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University Police Daniel Tingo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result, that query he located 2015 white Elantra with Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. This vehicle is registered to Brian Koberger. Okay, so if he didn't have a license plate, what do you do? Take it off to go? All they'd had to do is look at his car, and you could tell if the license plate had been removed recently
Right, that's a good point.
because those screws get dirty and everything. And if you take a screw off, you're going to remove that dirt. Even when you wash the car, the inside of the screw is still dirty.
Yeah, and there's going to be fingerprints on it if he was using his, messing with it like that.
Right.
And that would be like recent.
Recent, yeah.
Like I said, there's just too many inconsistencies for me to even place guilt on him at the moment. Because I'll tell you what, you sit there and charge something like that upon me, you better have all the evidence to prove that fact. You
Right.
know? And that means you want to see me behind the wheel of a vehicle that you're pointing out that was involved in it.
Yeah, and apparently there was. Okay, so this license plate indicates that Koberger is white male with a height of 6 feet and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photo of Koberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Koberger's physical description is consistent with the description made by Dylan. Dylan said he was only 5'10".
Correct. And
That's
then
4 inches.
there's a lot, right? And then there's a lot of guys that have bushy eyebrows. Come on now.
I know my dad did, and he was 5'10". I know my dad didn't do this. He wasn't even alive.
Right. Right.
Amanda Panda, you're awful quiet. What do you got to say? Koberger provided his phone number as 8458. Hereafter, the 8458 phone
Hmm.
as the cellular phone number. Investigate conducted electronic database queries to learn that 8458 phone is the number issued to AT&T. But they said Koberger's phone, that the phone that they saw pinged but was turned off or something.
Yes. And still had battery life apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But in his defense, I've done the same thing. I've turned my phone off when I still had battery life.
Me too, especially if I'm driving and I don't want to be bothered.
Yes, that also.
Okay, so I don't know. Seems like kids taking the fall for it either way. I was really thinking he didn't do it. See, we don't we don't know. It kind of leaves us in the going both ways here because it says that um, Washington law enforcement and Idaho require front and back license plates to be displayed. And even if he had just bought the car recently, it still would have had paper tags front and back. And a paper tag wouldn't have his license plate number.
No,
See,
and
a
then he
lot
got
of
pulled over. He got pulled over. Remember, they had the body cam of that.
uh-huh.
And at that time, he didn't display anything that would ring red flags. And
Right.
apparently, from what they're saying, he supposedly had been planning this for a long time. What they have been saying.
So they're trying to say that because he was he is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State, pursuant to record provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department. We learned that Kober's past included undergraduate degree in psychology and cloud basic forensics. These
And that
records.
was in Pennsylvania for that. He just got to WSU. This was just his first year there, so to speak. His first semester and stuff. Well, he wasn't that knowledgeable, so to speak.
See, so he had interest in assisting law enforcement in how to better collect and analyze
Yes, that's
technological
true.
data.
Yeah, because he's had that those courses when he was in Pennsylvania, and he did want to work with the police department.
And I don't believe that he would have gone to school. Paper tags are only on the. Oh, are they? I didn't know that. Thank you for that information. Okay. So they're trying to say that because he was going to school to learn all this stuff and had the PhD, that he knew how to commit the perfect crime and not get caught.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, a query of 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 p.m. and 5 or 3 a.m. and 5 a.m.
What did you just say?
The query showed his phone in
Did
did not show it utilizing
did
towers.
not did not.
Yeah, it's right there.
Did we just hear did not? Okay. So then why didn't Mr. Concalvis, Kaylee's dad, Steve, state that his phone was touching their internet? It wasn't that phone. 'Cause it didn't. It said right there, did not.
Right. Did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cell tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. So
See?
his phone must have been turned off for 2 full hours.
They said that you still can get your phone still will.
It'll ping even if it's off.
Yes, yes. it won't show that it's being used because, like right now, me being on my phone, it's pinging off of a tower, so that way I
Hmm.
have bigger
I know both my phones are laying here. I'm sure they're pinging off a tower.
because I can switch it. I can either be on internet or I could be on data. So if you're on data, it's gonna ping for a tower. So you have usage.
During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cell phone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. But it happened. So they did phone records between November 12th, 22 and 12 a.m. and November 14th, 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by phone provider AT&T approximately 24 hours preceding the of following times of the unaliving. Okay, so his phone's out of Albright, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since 2020, January 2022. Site locations information for 84. After reviewing information, I consulted with FBI that certified as member of cellular analyst survey team. Members of CAST and certified FBI provide the field require past extensive training, be certified. Additionally, FBI CAST. I was able to determine estimated locations for 8458 phone from November 12th to November 22, 13, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13th at approximately 2:42 a.m., the phone was utilizing cellular resources that provided coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road apartment. So at 2:30 or 2:42 he was home at his apartment.
Okay.
At 2:47 the phone provided coverage southeast of Coburger's residence, consisted with the phone leaving the Coburger residence and traveling south on Pullman. This consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47, the phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in the area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to a network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilizes cellular resources that provide coverage to ID State Highway 95 south of Moscow near Blaine ID north of Genesee. Between 4:50 and 5:26, the phone utilizes cellular resources that consistent with the traveling south ID on Highway 95 in Genesee, traveling west towards Uniontown, and then back into Pullman at
Hmm.
approximately 5:30. So they're not showing him his phone anywhere near their location, from what
Right.
I'm reading.
Another inconsistency.
It shows that his phone was near the King Road residence at 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. So why
The
would he go
fall,
back there during that time?
The following morning, yes.
The
Okay,
phone traveling back to the area Koberger's residence and arriving at the area approximately 9:32 a.m. So from 12 to 32, he's going to go this far. Why can't he just go that way?
right. That's why I want a trial. I'm sorry, but I feel that we deserve to have the trial.
Investigators found that 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, but investigators did not believe 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date.
See?
So he's saying that based on his experience, he believes that Koberger, user of that phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13th and the lack of 8458 reporting to AT&T between 2:47 and 4:48 is consistent with Koberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple unaliving that occurred at the King Road. Okay, so they're just saying that because his phone was not active or not seen at any of those cell towers during that time, it means he had to turn it off so he could do what he did. That's putting the blame somewhere you don't know where the blame should be. Okay, it says they were checking to see if he had stalked any of the residents prior to the offense. Surveillance on King Road resident was in contact with any of the victims associated before or after alleged offense. Any locations that may contain evidence that unalived that occurred on November 13th location was the Elantra registered to Koberger as well as the location of Koberger. Of course, if he was at the party the night before, his car would have been there.
That's my other question to them having that party. Where's all the fingerprints, all the footprints?
Yeah. Koberger was stopped by Lato County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke. As mentioned above, the 8548 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time, Farm Road and Pullman Highway, which is close to where he lived in Washington. And he was stopped for a traffic stop. They said that they saw him leave his house and then he was pulled over near his house and he went to a grocery store. So who's to say he didn't leave his house, go to the grocery store, They said he didn't buy anything. He just went to the bathroom. Maybe he really, really needed to go, and his roommate was in the bathroom, and he needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it says approximately 12:36 p.m., which is a little bit after noon. The phone utilized cellular service that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe, a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at time consistent with the cellular data from that phone. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the phone was utilized cellular data in Albertson's grocery store at 400 block. So he was just driving around up there in Pullman.
Mm-hmm.
At 12:49, interior surveillance showed Koberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Koberger's possible path of travel is depicted below. See, it goes straight across from here and then this way. He comes here and then goes back there. I don't know where he comes from here, and he comes from here. There's 95, and it comes around here, and then it turns around and goes back up here. I got a fly bugging me. Between 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the phone utilized cell sources that provide coverage at Johnson ID as the phone stops reporting to network at approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with 8458 phone being in that area. The phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time of the unaliving occurred. No, it didn't. Not if it was from 5:32 to 5:36 or 5:36 to 8:30. That has nothing to do with the times of the unaliving.
Nope, none.
Wouldn't the Pennsylvania police have well, once it goes in the trash, it's trash. And they got wait a minute. They got Koberger's dad's DNA.
Yes, from the trash.
And that's how they identified Koberger. Was from his dad's DNA. And his dad came to Washington to pick him up at that
Yeah, that
time.
too. Yep.
So his dad is in Washington at the time this happened, and him and Brian drive back to Pennsylvania so closely after this happening that
He didn't go until December.
okay,
He stayed there for the Thanksgiving break, but his dad came out at Christmas time and he went back
okay.
to spend the break of Christmas in Pennsylvania.
So his dad wasn't with him during the Thanksgiving break
Mm-mm.
here, but he was with his dad at Christmas there.
Mm-hmm. Because remember, they didn't do the arrest until the 30th or 31st of December.
Okay, on the 30th, they appointed a public defender. On the 30th, the invocation of rights. Let's go to 23. Whoa, there's a lot happened in 23. So many pages. Non-dissemination. What's a non-dissemination order? I've never heard of that. Stipulation for a non-dissemination order.
Google it so you can know. It's always good to Google so you understand what they're talking about.
Hey Siri.
Oh no, she yeeted herself. Oops. I see her going through the stuff, but she's not up here.
There.
There she is.
Okay, sorry about that. When I did the Siri thing, it shut my camera off. And
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I'm on my computer and I picked up my phone.
Did you
Okay,
find
so
out what it was?
yeah, it said it was a gag order.
Yeah.
Order changing time of preliminary status hearing. Order notice of hearing redacted.
I mean, there's a lot to cover on this.
And then there's court minutes. They amended the gag order.
Yes. It's supposed to, I think tomorrow it gets lifted, apparently.
Yeah, if the judge agrees with the plea.
Yeah. Right.
I wonder what order to seal. What is it sealing? Order to seal Apple,
That,
Amazon,
yeah, that was earlier in the discovery and stuff.
the Bank of America.
And they didn't want people to get hold of that information. Because you know how they are on the YouTube street.
Even the place where he was looking up the K bar.
Yes.
order to redact and unseal, motion to appoint co-counsel.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm gonna put a link.
Verizon.
I'm gonna put a
You know
link in
what? Do what?
your back chat. I'm gonna put a link in your back chat because it just came out a few hours ago, I believe. Let's see. Hold on, I gotta. Because everybody was wondering about the Chapin family. So I came across that.
Hold on. Hold, please. Stop screen. Present screen. Let me turn on some music here.
Fair use.
It's scrolling across the bottom.
Okay.
We are back with our GMA cover story. More on the Idaho College murders case after Brian Koberger agreed to plead guilty to all counts. Shortly before we learned of the plea deal, Kana Whitworth sat down with the family of one of the victims, Ethan Chapin. I want to go back to Kana in Boise. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, George, good morning. So the last time that Jim and Stacy Chapin saw their son Ethan alive, it was Parents' Weekend at the University of Idaho. They told me they left full of pride. Their 3 children, their triplets, were living their best lives. But that feeling was short-lived. It wasn't long after they learned that Ethan had been murdered in a quadruple homicide that thrust the town of Moscow into chaos. And this morning, for the first time, the Chapin family tells the story of how they stayed afloat.
Can you all hear it?
Sure can.
Okay.
We just decided maybe it was best to tell our story of Ethan literally one time. He deserves it. He deserves our story of him.
This morning, as the Idaho murder suspect prepares to accept.
So was that the twins, the other 2?
Yeah, the
siblings?
triplets. The triplets, yeah. Maisie and
Family of Ethan Chapin speaking publicly
That's
together
the brother
for the
and
first
sister.
time since Ethan, girlfriend Xana Kernodle, and her roommates Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez were brutally murdered in an off-campus home at the University of Idaho.
I miss him every day. When you lose your son at 20, you know, it's different. It's a different loss. And I miss him every single day. And I always will.
Ethan, a triplet with his siblings, Hunter and Maisie, all attending the University of Idaho together. Hunter and Maisie and their parents, Jim and Stacy, now telling their story in a new Prime Video docuseries, One Night in Idaho, The College Murders, remembering their 6'4", larger-than-life brother and son.
We played every sport together. Every time we went in the car, it was together. Partied together. There was never a dull moment.
So it sounds like they were best friends. As close can be.
Mm-hmm.
Them girls need dresses over their slips.
Yeah, I know.
Before Ethan was killed, Maisie brought him to her sorority formal. She now cherishes the text he sent her before bed.
So he started off by texting me. I think he said, "Dog, come hang out. We all want you here." And I said, "I'm going to bed." And then he said, "Love you." And I didn't even respond to that. I think I was asleep by then.
And the "I love you" kind of stood out, though.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Hunter, who pledged Sigma Chi with Ethan, says the next morning, a friend at the fraternity woke him up saying the police were at Xana's house.
Hunter Johnson came up to me and said, I was like, "Where's Ethan and Xana?" And he's like, "They're not here anymore." It's like, "What do you mean they're not here anymore?" He's like, "I think they were murdered last night."
Hunter was forced to call his family with the news.
I would have lost my crap.
Oh yeah, I know.
I would.
I mean, even still to this day, I don't know them personally, but I still feel for them and I still have emotions.
Right.
And it's odd to me. I mean, it's great they're gonna have a mini doc on them that they chose only to do it one time. So
So how can that come out? Okay, if the plea deal is not accepted and it goes to trial, how can the docuseries come out before that? Can it?
they tell you the date when they're gonna release it here at the end.
Parents in disbelief.
It drives me crazy because I've always wanted to protect my family. And there's really nothing there that I could have done. You know, instantly he was taken.
A suspect, Brian Koberger, arrested nearly 7 weeks later. With a bit of relief, the Chapins shifting their focus to their son's legacy, getting tattoos to honor him.
We all benefited from having Ethan in our lives for 20 years. It's a tremendous loss.
Now, the Chapins told me that they brought Ethan's ashes and his red Jeep home to one of their favorite places in Priest Lake, Idaho, where they live like Ethan every day to honor his legacy. For more on their story, you can catch One Night in Idaho, the college murders. It premieres on July 11th on Prime Video. George.
Okay, Candace, thanks very much.
July 11th.
Wow.
So they have already.
They've already done everything.
And now they're gonna show the world.
I wonder if the other parents are going to be involved in that docuseries. Let's see what it's saying about what's happening right now, because this is all old news. Order denying motion to dismiss indictment for inaccurate instructions to grand jury. So they denied the motion due to a technicality towards the grand jury.
Right.
Okay, here, let's get it closer to right now. Order seal. I'm gonna turn this music off. Driving me nuts. Okay. Redacted memorandum decision order defendants. It says notice of hearing from 6:30. Motion to seal second notice filing defendants addition objections to the jury questionnaire. Order sealing second notice of filing defendants additions objections to the jury questionnaire and notice of hearing. Okay, the notice is all it does is say, I'll show you. It's really short. I mean, it says motion to seal second notice of filing defendant addition objection to the jury questionnaire. So they're wanting to seal the questions the jury was asked to be selected as jurors. Why would they want to seal that? I mean, what difference would it make?
You got me on that one.
Huh. That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, let's look at this notice of hearing. In the District Court of Ada. I wish this fly would go away. July 2nd at 11 a.m. Stephen Hippler, Ada County. All parties and councils are required to be present. That's tomorrow at 11. So Koberger is going to have to be there, and all his council will have to be there. I wish I could be there.
Yes, but that town will be overran big time.
Yeah, I bet there's not an empty motel room within miles.
Yes, many miles.
Was I know Bullhorn Betty's been traveling. Was she headed that way? Do you know?
She was supposed to be going that way, yes.
I haven't seen her on YouTube today.
But remember, everybody's waiting until tomorrow to figure out what's going to happen.
So at this point, to me, it seems like it would be best if this judge says no. Because if he's not guilty, why would he plead guilty? Who's he covering up for? If he is guilty, why didn't he plead guilty back in 2022?
Correct.
It just doesn't.
No, it doesn't add up. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the math ain't mathing.
No.
I'm looking at the case summary, and it is. Get back up to the top here. 100 pages long.
Ooh-wee. You're going to cover it tomorrow?
How do you do it? I may record it with my phone, or because I don't know how to screen snipe.
That's what I would do. I would just record it and then go over it in the evening like you do.
That sounds good. And then I can cut it off during parts where they're in break and whatever.
Right.
Unless it's just a 5-minute thing. Everybody's got to be there, and the judge is going to say, nope, we're going to court.
I thought Molly Golightly was banned from YouTube.
I don't know why.
Because she's horrible. In my opinion, she's horrible.
Where did her name come up?
I'm going through I have YouTube on my TV, and I'm just going through what's live, and I see her face up there. I'm like, why is she up there on that channel? She's supposed to have been banned.
Last night, after Brittany ended her second live,
Yeah.
I went over I just wanted to see what that, I can't even remember her name. the one that was screen sniping her.
Oh, the one starts with the W.
Yeah, and she when Brittany was saying the prayer for all the people on the other side.
Oh, was she flipping out?
No, they're like, I'm not listening to this. I'm hitting mute. They don't need to pray for me and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, in the chat? Yeah, I was reading some of that too. But what does the Lord say? The Lord says you're supposed to pray for your enemies.
Exactly. Exactly. And then people calling Brittany a liar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had to turn it off. I couldn't listen to it. I'm like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
I get so real sensitive to the fact that they continuously keep going on about her, um, and lying on her and defaming her.
Did you hear what they were saying about Brittany's background?
As in that
Male body
window
part?
cover, that window covering thing.
No, no. Her background on her, of all the gummy bears that were melting.
Oh yeah, the ones that are all slimy looking.
Yeah. They were saying that those were male anatomies.
What?
Yep.
Oh my god.
And they said the red one, if Brittany still has that background tonight, we'll look. The red one on the far left has a white highlight on it, and they said that was after.
What?
Yeah,
People have out
and
of this world imaginations.
they were pointing it out to Nana, so that Nana could get a laugh off of Brittany.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to talk ill will of Nana, but I never expected this from her.
I didn't
To be
either.
honest, I would never have thought that she would have stooped this low as she has done. And I'm a person of my word on the fact that I would never do that to Brittany. If I have a beef and it's not worked out, I just walk away.
Yeah, I'm not
So be
able to
it.
get to Brittany's every single night, but I'm not going to go behind her back and start bashing her.
No. You're supposed to, like I continuously keep telling everybody, you're supposed to build people up, you know? Here,
Love
watch.
thy
Look at this.
neighbor as thyself.
Right, look. See my wall?
Oh, wow.
See how it's coming along? I did this with my granddaughter.
That is beautiful.
Look it. Look it.
That is beautiful.
That's just
Wow.
one of my walls. And look it. This is one of my favorites. Let's see if I can get it up there. See it right there? The armor of God right there.
Oh, wow.
This side is all my faith over here. And then I've got this started over here.
That is amazing.
Here's my, see that? See all that? See what that's for?
Is that a painted mural?
Yeah, it's a brook. It's a bridge and water. This
Uh-huh.
right here. Let's see if you can see this. You see that? This I turn on for the water noise.
Oh, wow.
So that way, and then at night it'll glimmer, and so it looks like water under the bridge.
Oh,
And
wow.
then this over here, this, I don't know if you can see this, but this right here has smoke that comes down each of those levels. I'll show it once I get it all done. I'm going to show it on Brittany's what I've done. And this is an organite.
Oh, how cool.
And there's my sage. My sage.
Speaking of sage, I got Amanda Panda said that's beautiful. got a new box. Now, are you supposed to, once you light the sage, are you supposed to have like something you put it out? Because you're not going to burn a whole big old thing of sage at one time. See, this one, what you doing, church? This one's different. I don't know what these are for. Oh, sage goes out on its own? I got a black stone and a white stone. And then I've got the shell, which I'm supposing that's where you lay the sage. And I got a feather. And I don't know what this is for. It smells good. It smells like cedar.
So you might look at right here. Look, Nan.
Oh,
You might
wow.
see my granddaughter did that.
She did a good job. What are these little sticks for?
And then my headboard. This all lights up behind the headboard.
Oh, man. And then here's
Yep. Yep.
Telling you, when Amanda called me and woke me up this morning, she probably could have used some sage. She's doing okay now. Don't get me wrong.
Your feather is you'll do like a chant, like a positive chant, or you could read Bible verses. However, that's to ward off the evil. Your black stone is to absorb the evil, while your white one is for purity.
Oh, cool.
And then the sage, of course, is for negative energy. And of course, the dark side over there says that's all has to do with witchcraft. No, it does not.
No, it has to do
No,
with
it does
purity
not.
of your heart and wanting to keep your heart pure. Amanda says it's worry stones or blessed stones. Cleanse them and keep them on you.
Yes.
And the sticks are so it don't burn your table. Because the other one I got yesterday just has 5. It has 2 purple sages and 3 white sages and then 3 sticks.
Yeah. And the sticks, I believe, are cedar wood or sandalwood. One of the two.
And then
Which has significance too. All of it all has to do with positive energy and vibes.
That's what we need on this side of the YouTube street.
Yeah, and I just continue to keep forging forward. I don't allow all of it to get to me. They can talk all their smack they choose to, because you know what? That just shows who they are.
Right.
Yeah, once in a while, I go off like I do, but once I do, then I'm good to go thereafter. I just continue to keep going. It's just a release.
That's I don't know how to word this. I'm afraid to do that. Like, people will call me and just gripe me out because I hurt somebody else's feelings. And I'm like, then the same person will hurt somebody that I care about's feelings. And I just want to call them and say, hey, listen, don't you call me throwing a fit when you're the one doing something worse than what you said I did.
Right.
But I don't. I'm afraid if I hurt somebody's feelings, they won't never talk to me again.
There's always a how do I want to say? There's always a classy way of coming across that doesn't hurt people's feelings.
Yeah, I just don't know that way. I went to visit a friend. I went to visit a friend in a nursing home that has cancer, and that was at Christmas time. And last month in May, I got a call from another friend that said the friend in the nursing home said she can't with me anymore. I have no filter and I don't even need to be around her. I hadn't seen her since before Christmas.
Wow. I know, I can't believe Christmas is around the corner already.
I know.
I'm already starting the Christmas shop because I'm not going to sit here and wait.
My spare bedroom's getting full of stuff right now. Today I got a bunch
Yeah, if
listed on
you
YouTube.
come across like butterflies, fairies, and the teapots, let me know what you have.
Tomorrow I'll bring some teapots I got down in my RV garage. They're listed on my website. I'll bring them up
Mhm.
and let you look at them. And I was at the Goodwill. I think it was on Sunday's video, and I found a water pitcher about this big that was shaped like a butterfly on both sides.
Aw.
It was really pretty, but they wanted like $7 for it.
Oh.
And then I was thinking that by the time it was shipped, that'd make it like a $30 pitcher, and it's not room for that.
My sister was telling me about some kind of mailing, I don't know, I guess agency. It's called Pirate.
Pirate ship. Mhm.
Yeah, that's what she said. You look into
Yeah,
that. So it's more cost efficient because
it is
mm,
depending on what you're shipping.
yeah, because the post office is going up again.
Yeah, the lady that I shipped those 55 boxes of stuff to,
Mhm.
um, I use Pirate Ship to ship every one of them, and it'll tell you whether it's cheaper to go USPS or UPS. And I always look it up before because that way I know how to box it. Because if it's
Right.
USPS, I can use their free boxes. If it's UPS, I have to turn the box inside out and cover it
Oh.
with paper. But the lady I was shipping to, she wanted everything covered and taped all around, taped in every direction, and then covered in saran wrap and taped around the saran wrap.
So that way it
And,
doesn't get damaged or
and
get.
everything had to be triple bubble wrapped inside.
Wow.
But I'll look and see what I've got in the way of butterflies and um,
In
teapot.
particular, pinks, blues, and purples for butterflies, because that's the colors that I have in my room.
Ow!
And
Okay.
then fairies.
And
And
fairies?
yeah, I like fairies.
Yeah, you'll have to fight Manda Panda for those.
Yeah, I do. I like fairies.
She was, we had a big old rainstorm and she come up here and a whole bunch of mud washes out of my backyard down underneath one of my little sheds in the backyard. And there's the concrete's like full of this much mud. And Manda
Oh,
was
wow.
pulling out. She got a whole fairy garden, and she's got a great big bird bath that's, I'll bet, 28 inches in diameter. It takes two
Wow.
people to lift it, and she put it full of dirt and filled it, made a big old fairy garden in it. It's beautiful. She'll have
I'm
to
gonna do a gnome. I'll
take
do
a
a
picture of
gnome.
it, make it her avatar, and come up here.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll do a gnome and a troll one for with my grandkids over at my
See, I'm
daughter's.
not great big on gnomes, but since I love snowmen, a friend of mine gave me this gnome for Christmas.
Aww.
Not snowmen, sunflowers, because it's got a sunflower on it.
And my daughter loves sunflowers also.
This whole room is done in sunflowers, except one shelf is frogs and turtles.
Oh.
Frogs and turtles. I got a turtle garden out in my front yard. It's got all different kinds of turtles. I got cast iron turtles and rock turtles, and one of them's got a hole in it. It's got my flagpole standing up in the middle of it.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
uh, I got perfumes that are turtles, and when you open that stuff, it stinks. Oof. But
Oh Lord.
glass turtles, and they're all in a beaded, like inside of a fish tank, and it's a square block. I've got to redo it now because the grass has grown up in there, but so, but that, yeah, I put a lot of turtles out there, but the turtles that I'm like, that are for sale, like my Talavera turtles and my, like, This is Murano glass, and it's very little. Hurt.
Oh, that is cute.
I got 2 of them.
Oh, they're cute.
And then these are called puke glass. And what it is little bitty pebbles in resin.
Oh, look at that. That is nice too. Different.
And then I got, these are just little resin turtles. I got all that.
Oh,
And then I got frogs running out the Yes It Was and all kinds of, that shelf is almost all sunflowers, and I got sunflowers up there and sunflowers over there, and a whole room of sunflowers. But I'm fixing to move my office again so I can have my dining room back, because this is my dining room. I'm going to bring my office back downstairs because A, it's cooler, and B, I can close the door. Close the door so he can't get in there.
it's so cute.
Yeah,
I always loved when the kitties did that. They like to crawl on your shoulders.
yeah. He was born on May 5th, so he's
Oh,
born on Cinco de Mayo.
they all grow up fast though.
Yeah. My black cat can't stand him.
My cat, I trip out because he likes to sleep on his back like a dog.
Oh
He'll
my.
put his paws up and turn his head all funky and sleeping away.
My black cat, we had to take him to the vet. I guess it was Monday. What's today? It was Saturday or Sunday. One of the days we had to take him to the vet because I had gone somewhere, and when I come home, he couldn't walk. He couldn't put any weight on his left arm, and it just kind of hung there. And he had a gash in the back of his head right there.
Did he get hit?
That's what I'm thinking, but they said he was just bruised. So,
maybe he fell. Maybe he was somewhere and he fell, and then
I'm thinking that. Also, our neighbor kids like to come because we got such a steep driveway. It's like this, and our neighbor kids like to come up the top of the driveway and ride their bikes and scooters down. And I'm thinking one of them might have accidentally rolled him or something.
Oh, yeah, it could be that too. Poor baby.
But he's okay now. Today he's walking just fine.
That's good.
Yeah. I was really praying over him, letting him lay on a heating pad and
I can tell you an episode. I could tell you when I was a teenager and this lady came to our door telling us that she ran over our cat.
Oh.
I broke our screen door going after her. I lost it. I was so pissed. And then I got the cat. And brought him in, and she ran over the back part, back legs, couldn't walk on him. So 24-hour care, all of us had to come together to help that cat get back to normal.
And he made it?
He made it. But that lady, I've never seen a lady run so fast in her life. Because I just saw red because, that was my cat. What do you pay attention?
I can imagine. When I was about 13, my now husband lived 2 blocks up the street from me. And he was the only one I knew in the neighborhood that had a pellet gun.
Oh.
And I had a white poodle. And she went out at night and she'd come back in and whatever. Well, one night when I called her to come in and she wouldn't come in. So I went ahead and went to bed because it was my bedtime. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, I heard her outside my bedroom door. Apparently, my mom or dad had let her in, and she was laying by my door. And when I went to get her, she was all bloody.
Oh.
So I went and woke my mom up, and they took her to the emergency vet. And after 4 hours of operating on her, they pulled 7 pellets out of her stomach. And
Oh.
she didn't make it.
Oh, poor thing.
So, yeah, she didn't make it. But
Yeah, there's some cruel people out there because that happened to one of our dogs too. That he he was the night hoe dog at night, and he would get out and go do his thing and come back, and then we found out on one episode he got jacked up from some pellets, and we had to take him to the vet too.
my
He made
husband swears to this day that he did not shoot my dog. But
it.
he's
He
the only
might
one
not
I
have.
knew. Huh?
He might not have. I don't
Well,
know.
no. But he's the only one I knew that had a pellet gun. And I knew he had a pellet gun because he taught me how to shoot it.
Oh, okay. There's that.
So, but, it's neither here nor there. She could have gotten into somebody's yard and they could have just tried to scare her out of there and not really meant to hurt her.
Correct. That's true too. You
But
never know.
then again, it was probably just her time. I have a friend over in Wichita that every time there's a tornado or a storm or something, she calls me and she's, oh, all this. I'm coming to your house. You've got the basement and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. Well, she never shows up,
Mm-hmm.
but she never shows up. But she's always telling me about, and I'm like, why are you worried about it? If God decides that's your way you're gonna go, it doesn't matter where you hide. He's gonna get you. If he decides that tornado is gonna be your way.
Yeah.
So I don't even, and we grew up standing out on a front porch watching tornadoes go down a few blocks
I
away.
I remember when I want to say 8 or 9, and we went to go visit family. I believe it was Oklahoma. It might have been Illinois. One of them, either state, they both get tornadoes.
Yeah.
And we were out in the field, out to go feed the chickens and check on the horses and stuff. And the siren went off, and everybody's running in the house, but I was in the chicken coop, and the darn chicken coop door shut behind me, and it
Oh,
locked me in. And I was out there when the tornado sirens were going off, and my family's in the house in the living room, and they're all laughing at me.
I
And
bet
then
you felt like Dorothy.
I'm freaking out. I'm on the side of the chicken coop shaking the wire, and trying to let them know that you need to come out here and get me. I can't get out. Finally, my dad figured it out and came out and got me. And I was not happy. By that time, I was crying because I was so scared.
I bet you felt like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
I was so scared.
I bet you were. Well,
'Cause-
anyway, I'm gonna get off of here.
Yep, sounds good. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
later in one of the chats.
Thanks
You
for
have a good
coming up.
evening. You're welcome. You have a good evening.
Do
Bye,
something.
Amanda Panda.
Amanda, she said bye.
Have a
So,
good evening.
be the change you want to be, or is that how do you say
Yeah,
that?
be the change you want to see.
There you go. Do
Be the
something
change
nice
you
for
want to
someone, even if it's
see. And
just
peace
be the
out.
reason they smile. And get locked.
Get locker.
Get locked.